607 Unk, after last week's performance in which he disrespected the B team, created commotion all over the city, that I left Thursday night to go to Texas. On Friday, Unk and 4Extra sat down and they had a conversation on camera.
I told you not to do that.
Has gone extremely viral.
Didn't I tell you not to do that?
I do recall you saying that.
I said, don't do it.
We got security here. Somehow there was a lapse in which I believe too many people were allowed in here, but 607 Unk basically got called out by 4Extra. 4Extra more or less
called him out.
Indirectly or directly told him that he would essentially make him stop breathing. Unk, honestly, like, it's kind of bizarre. He drove down, like literally the next day, he drove to Texas to meet up with us. We hung out for 3 hours, didn't see him again after that.
So before you announced he's not coming back.
This is before anything regarding him quitting.
No, before, yeah, I talked to him for like an hour.
Okay.
Calmed him down. He was cool.
Yeah.
Because I pointed out to him, what you do, 607 Unk, is you do a bunch of weird shit. You say a bunch of outrageous shit to get the people's attention, and then you deliver your message, right? He said, Wack, that's exactly what I do. I said, okay. And you did it in your way of doing it, right? Right. I said, okay.
What was the message that came after Hoover blank remover?
Hold on.
I missed that.
No, you're missing the point. It's his overall, as weird as 607 acts, he always goes to some topic. The man is not stupid. He just plays crazy. He always goes to something biblical or what people need to stop doing. He'll do a bunch of weird shit, look around, whatever, on my mama line, or just to get you to look at him, and then he'll try to deliver a message from his perception. I told 607, 4Extras did the same thing. If he's here with 30, 40 dudes, I said, was you touched? No. Did they rob you? No. They didn't kick in your ass, spit on you, go in your pockets? No. But it got your attention, right? Yes. And his message was, stop playing with this West Coast gangbang culture, right? Yeah. Did you hear him? Yeah. But you wouldn't have heard it any other time. So he did to you what you do to everybody else, just in his way. Because if they wanted to get him, he would have been got.
Right.
That wasn't the mission. The mission was to get your attention. And I applaud 4Extras, because the 4Extras that we know would have did something to him, right? But he didn't. And that's out of respect of his work. 4Extras know that this is his workplace. Right? But everything he did got his attention. I said, did you hear what he said? Yeah, I heard. Yeah, y'all act different when it comes to that. Okay, so now his message was delivered. 607, you wouldn't, if somebody would have been just trying to talk to you regular, you gonna troll. You're not gonna hear nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? I said, so you can't get mad at 4Extras for you to doing it his way if you don't want us to get mad at you for doing it your way.
Right. Like, my perspective is that everybody involved is at least a little bit guilty. I think that the No Jumper staff, as much as it was good that we had security on deck, they fucked up by allowing too many people to be in the building. That's just not, we're not equipped to deal with that many people. It's just not, it's not okay. We got to set harsher standards and be more strict about this. 4Extra, I feel like, was wrong because he was probably too aggressive. I don't think the words, I'm going to kill you, should ever really leave your mouth when you're communicating with somebody else that you work with or that is part of the No Jumper team. I appreciate that he didn't do anything physical, but I think that he probably crossed a few lines. I'm going to send this to him so that I don't have to repeat this, but I feel like he crossed a few lines by saying, I'm going to kill you. Okay. If that actually happened. Well, it really basically happened in the podcast.
Okay, so is a dude crossing lines by saying something that rings, come kill me? Is a dude crossing lines who's putting people in this building in situations that they may not want to be in because that disrespectful shit he said to Munchie, right? It puts people in the situation.
I completely agree. And I feel like despite the fact that No Jumper staff was at fault for not having, obeyed the rules about how many people were able to come in, and despite the fact that 4Extra crossed some sort of line when he was yelling at Unk, The original sin in all of this, and the main message that so many of us seem to have respected over the years that Unc doesn't seem to get, is that LA street shit is taken extremely seriously.
That's a fact.
And what he said to Munchie was completely out of bounds and should never have happened. And in addition to that, I get it that you were trolling, but all the jokes that he was making about 4Extra, primarily implying gay shit, just not going to go over well.
Who else crossed the line, though?
What do you mean?
We're going to keep it real. Like, let's keep it real. Who else crossed the line? You know, this 2025, this ain't 1825. You crossed the line.
What'd I do?
Because you initiated all the even that talk about 4Extras to even allow the door to be open for this dude to say what he said. So
when did I coax him into saying some gay shit?
You start talking about whatever's supposed to happen. He keeps screaming it.
What?
He like, yo, Fo, why you get mad at me when I was responding to what Adam said? That's all he been screaming.
Wait, who was responding to what I said?
607 keeps screaming. 4Extras, why you tripping on me, but you ain't said nothing to Adam when I'm responding to what Adam said about you?
But I never said any gay shit about him besides this carrot allegation, which I don't even think is technically gay.
Well, what did you say? Because it's all he's screaming.
I don't know. But I mean,
you don't remember what you said?
I probably said
what you remember what everybody else said.
The only gay shit that I would, you're talking about like a random podcast I did months ago. The only thing I would ever have said about 4Extras that was in any way gay was just talking about the carrot thing.
Okay, but you talked about it with 607.
Yeah, we for sure discussed that.
Okay, so
I discussed that with a lot of people.
But if you never,
he's the one who went to a different level and said basically like really gay shit about 4Extra that he was going to feel. So if you would have never
opened that door, it would have never been an extended conversation.
Listen, I didn't pull this carrot rumor out of thin air. This was something that was already being discussed on a variety of channels.
And Hefe said he talked to somebody, right, which I'm not going because he from A-Trey Gangster. They enemies. So anything he talking about with 4Extras, I'm going to take with a grain of salt unless he got it.
Although it was pointed out that Spody Face did a podcast with Hefe. So if he can do it, why can't 4Extras?
Because 4Extras is 4Extras.
Yeah.
Spody Face is Spody Face.
I know. But either way, all I'm saying is that 607 Unc, his whole thing is like disrespecting gangs and shit. Like, or at least that's one arc.
I told him that. I said, bro,
his humor.
It's
not going to work out.
You saying I'm blood cripping, bro. All that. I said, y'all don't know how the Chicago dudes taking it. People don't play with that out here.
Yeah.
I told him that. You know what I'm saying?
You can just imagine that, like, if he didn't learn this lesson now, he was going to keep doing this, and you can imagine what he would say to a Crip to get a crazy, outrageous moment. Yeah, if he keeps, like, he's done enough. If he's going to keep trying to run this little gimmick into the ground, it's not going to be good.
No, he's going to get hurt, bro.
Yeah.
And now he made it dangerous. Look, let's kill this podcast shit. You dissed everything that come with a burgundy and a red flag. Everything, right? So that means if you out getting gas and the average little dude see you, or you just want to go to the mall, or you sitting there eating, fuck the rappers and the YouTubers. You just open the door to everybody. That's not directed at Munchie. That's directed at anything that fall up under that flag.
And my main thing with Unc too is I was just telling him, I'm like, listen, we can agree that multiple mistakes were made by the staff, by me for even doing this without being there to maybe be a moderator. Lush was the only person who was there, and he's just
Lush can't do that.
He's just incapable.
Lush
of finding,
is handicapped. Why y'all act like Lush ain't handicapped?
What's his handicap?
With one leg is shorter than the other.
I didn't even know that.
He walks with a gimp. This is a fact.
I thought he was just drunk.
Bro, he walks with one foot is flat, the other one is on the ball of his foot. He walks, bro. He walks like he's handicapped.